In Frank Herberts Dune, how exactly do the Fremen ride giant sandworms? It's one of the many cool ideas in the book, and I've always wanted to understand the answer. Let's find out. Paul planted the thumper deep into the windward face where the sand was compacted and would give maximum transmission to the drumming. With abrupt decision, Paul released the thumper's latch. The clapper began revolving, and the summons drummed through the sand. Summoned by the sound, it appeared more than half a league long, and the rise of the sand wave at its cresting head was like the approach of a mountain. Paul waited on the sand outside the gigantic maker's line of approach. Its great teeth within the cavern circle of its mouth spread like some enormous flower. The spice odour from it dominated the air. As it emerged further, Paul moved alongside the worm, ensuring half a metre for every metre of the maker's diameter to avoid the vortex of its passage and still have time to run in and mount it. Its cresting front segments through a sand wave that would sweep across his knees. You then use two hooks to catch onto the leading edge of a worm segment, preferably towards the front of its body. You then brace against the worm's body with your feet and secure yourself as it continues to move forward. The worm then begins to turn to move the sand away from going into its soft innards and irritating it, so it rotates away from the side you hooked on. If this is done wrong, as even the young Fremen can, then it will rotate towards you and crush you. The rotation ends with the ring segment opened as far away from the ground as possible, and you are on top of and riding the worm. From here, by yourself, you will need to turn it. When the hook was firm and tested, he brought down the first one, thus worked his way down the side. The maker rolled, and as it rolled, it turned, coming around the sweep of flour sand, where the others waited. So, open segment on the left to turn right and vice versa. The other Fremen can then climb up using ropes you throw down. I think everyone who rides the worm must either stay secure with the hooks, or what makes sense to me, and I can't see it stated in the book, is to secure yourself with rope, perhaps against one of the scales on the worm's surface, and then use the hooks to guide the worm as needed from that secure point, like a safety rope when climbing. And I think the first to get on top of the worm, in this case Paul Atreides, must keep segments open on top to make sure it does not go below the sand surface again. With more Fremen riding it, moving the worm is done much like before. Paul motioned two steersmen out of the line and into positions ahead. The left side steersman opened a ring segment there. In a majestic circle, the maker turned to protect its opened segment. Maker is a Fremen word for the giant worms. That, my friends, is how you ride a giant sandworm. What do you think of how the Fremen do it? Do you think it makes sense? Have you ever ridden a giant sandworm? Please comment below.